Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And in fact, if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Round and Round. And that is because the planets are all spread out around the heavens. And that is a unique position for most of them to be in. And in fact, 8 of the 10 planets are in 8 different signs, one to a sign. So that's why there is something offered for everybody, some opportunity that can be offered for everyone this next week. The one sign, the 9th sign, has 2 planets in it, and that is Gemini. And Gemini rules change in communication and easy transitions, and it rules our friends and pals and people in our neighborhood. It rules early childhood education and all short forms of education, such as in community colleges or vocational schools or training seminars. It also rules the ability to be very adaptable and versatile and sort of change your mind sometimes, which is good because that could help you solve your problems. And so that sign has 2 planets in it. The Sun at 19 degrees of Gemini today is exactly conjunct Venus, the planet of love and partnership and peace, at 20 degrees of Gemini. So that is just wonderful for all the things that Gemini rules. And so there can be some people that are open to change, or you can be thinking of some sort of transition that you want to make, and maybe if it's only step by step, still it would represent the idea of sort of off with the old and on with the new as people get ready to face future possibilities. So that could be great. And so that means that people can be having sort of easy summer times right now, or maybe going on short trips, but still they can be contemplating change, and that would be nice. In fact, because there is something for everyone, it simply means that there's a grand trine right now in the fire signs. And that is because the moon in Leo is trining Uranus in Aries, and it is trining Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn is retrograde. And so since the moon is in Leo, and Leo is lit by the sun, and that is an indication that there can be a lot of enthusiasm for some unique new beginning. And it would be unique because Uranus is in the sign of new beginnings, Aries. And Uranus also rules sudden change. So there could be a lot of enthusiasm for something to get started in a real quick way. But remember, Saturn is also trining the other 2 planets in fire signs, and Saturn is retrograde, and it is in the sign that rules the courts. And so there is the possibility, with a lot of enthusiasm to back you up, that you could make some unique new start, but you would have to make sure all of the legal requirements were met first. And if you don't do that, it's not going to get off the ground. So you have that to consider. Among the earth signs, there is also a grand trine. Mercury in Taurus is being trined by Jupiter in Virgo, and also by Pluto, which is retrograde in Capricorn. And since Jupiter in Virgo represents a lot of facts and details which have been verified and closely examined, that simply means under this grand trine in the practical earth signs that accountability is essential for good fiscal management. And so even leaders at the top now are going to be held accountable for their actions, and particularly how they handle money or budgets. And so that is why accountability is so important. So I hope you haven't been leaving anything out of your work record or of your bank account or anything else, because it's the facts and accountability and proof that is really going to matter right now. Among the water signs, Mars has retrograded into Scorpio, a fixed financial sign, which also rules justice, and it is at 26 degrees of Scorpio. And because it is retrograde, that means financial matters that have to do with credit, debt, insurance, inheritance, grants, loans, anything where, or even money laundering, anything where money is coming in from some other source is going to be reinvestigated and justice will be done, particularly for people who have perhaps been faking it or covering things up, because that Mars is trining Neptune in Pisces, and Pisces rules hidden enemies and things that are going on behind the scenes. So I hope that you've done everything right and that you've been real upfront about financial matters as well. But overall, it simply means that a lot of people can have the opportunity for a very easy type of transition or change. We're contemplating something new. And it just means that you sort of have to do everything right now, but there are all kinds of future possibilities right now because the planets are going round and round. In other words, one is sort of following another around the heavens right now, which indicates that a lot of people just are going to have new opportunities for change right now. But there are still 3 retrograde planets, and we need to take a look at what they stand for, because those 3 retrograde planets are all in succession, one in each sign. So Mars is retrograde in Scorpio, Saturn is retrograde in Sagittarius, and Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn. And because Pluto and Mars are both the rulers of Scorpio, and Mars is at home in that sign, it makes Scorpio very strong. And so there is the possibility right now that there has to be a painstaking review of all financial and legal policies in order to restore trust and ensure that justice is done in large corporations or government agencies. That's what those 3 planets mean. But what do they mean individually? Mars in Scorpio individually, since it is retrograde and it does rule debt, means that this is a time to get out of debt, or this is a time to pay down debt, or it is a time to collect debt. In other words, people might want to sort of say, pay up right now. This is not a good time to incur debt. And the reason why is that Mars is squaring Leo. Leo is the sign of gambling. And so this is a time when you shouldn't gamble with anything. In fact, the whole summer you should not take any gambles or risks because they would be very costly and you would regret them. And so Saturn in Sagittarius retrograde means that this is a time to be upholding the law, not ignoring the law. And Pluto retrograde in Capricorn right now means this is a time to restore trust, not diminish it. And so those 3 planets are giving us some pretty specific instructions about what to do right now, sort of so that things can all be on the up and up. Because 2 planets are exactly opposite each other. Mercury is in Taurus at 26 degrees, and it is precisely being opposed by that very dominant Mars in Scorpio, also at 26 degrees. And remember, Scorpio rules not only a fixed financial sign, and Taurus is a fixed financial sign as well, but Scorpio rules justice. And so this is a time coming up when I think the long arm of the law could break open and shatter somebody's large piggy bank. And so while many people are having casual times right now and sort of enjoying their summer vacations and considering change, there can be others that want to simply keep on going round and round. And in fact, if somebody is on a merry-go-round right now, there is the possibility that they could fall off. And just like Humpty Dumpty, if they had a great fall, they may not be able to put their lives back together again. And I'm not talking about one person. I am talking about a group of people that if the long arm of the law comes after them, or if they want to keep riding their merry-go-round as if they could just keep doing the same old thing, they are expected to fall off and be hurt, really hurt by that, to the point where they may not be able to put their lives back together again. So you have the choice of staying on your own merry-go-round or perhaps considering change right now and transition. And it would be easy to do that, so I hope you give that a thought. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, this is a time when there can be a lot of enthusiasm for some sort of quick turnaround or new start that could be very unique. It could be something that could offer you a little freedom, Aries, and I think you would love it. And since the sun and Venus are conjuncting each other in Gemini, and they are sextiling your sun, there is the possibility, since Gemini rules part-time or temporary efforts, that you could take on something new that would perhaps give you a little bit more freedom because it was part-time or temporary, and that would leave you a lot of other time to do what you want. And that could succeed as long as all legal steps were taken. In other words, would you have the right educational credentials to qualify you for a unique new start? Or would you be able to file all the papers for some sort of application that you need to apply for? You have to get all that kind of thing done first in order to have a unique new start get underway that could offer you a little more happiness, Aries. But it is possible, so I hope you give that a try. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time with a grand trine in earth signs when all of the earth signs can really be watching their bottom line, including you, because your sign is a fixed financial sign. And your ruler, Venus, is right ahead of your sign, conjuncting the sun in Gemini. So you might have your mind on buying and selling, or renting, or promoting, or marketing something. And that could work out really well as long as you understand that accountability is essential for good financial management. So as long as you've got all the facts and you've added everything up right and you're looking at that bottom line as well, you really could succeed right now, Taurus. However, Mercury in your sign is being harshly opposed by Mars in Scorpio, and they're both at the same degree, the 26th degree. And so since Mars is dominant, there is the possibility, if you've been taking a gamble or spending too much, Taurus, that you would simply owe a lot more for that right now, or you might have lost some sort of gamble. So you do have that to consider, because that retrograde Mars means that debts are supposed to be paid down. And if you are contemplating something pretty expensive right now, try not to go into debt for it, because I think it would make it prohibitively expensive instead. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, it's wonderful that the sun and Venus are conjunct in your sign. That can make you very popular, and also it means that the things your sign stands for are accentuated in a very nice and loving way. In other words, short trips or vacations, or seeing pals and buddies, or really enjoying the people in your neighborhood. Or you can be contemplating some sort of transition or change, and even if it's gradual and only happens a little bit at a time, it would turn out to be very successful, Gemini. So I hope you stick to your plans for change, because even if it took a year, it would still be very successful. But I think that anything that you attempt in the way of a change that you're contemplating, or some part-time or temporary effort, I think it could bear fruit by as early as this fall and bring you an even more wonderful partner that could help make it a success as well, because Jupiter will go into Libra on September 9th and trine your sun. Venus is already in your sun sign, and Venus rules Libra. And so I think you've got a lot of very nice possibilities right now, Gemini, and I just hope you act on all of them. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, right behind your sun sign are the sun and Venus in Gemini, which means in the background of your life, with so much light from the sun, people can see that you may be involved in some sort of temporary project, or you could be involved in something that includes your family members or your neighbors or your pals or your buddies, or maybe going on a short vacation with a group. That would be really nice. Or there is the possibility that you may be thinking of downsizing, either in your home, maybe selling one home and buying another, or even renting for a while. And also there is the possibility that you could be doing something that allows you to go from full-time work to part-time work, and that would sort of take a little of the stress off you, Cancer. whatever you do, you might have the money for that. And that is because Mars in Scorpio is trining your sun right now, and Neptune in Pisces is also trining your sun. And actually, with Mars retrograde in Scorpio, there is the possibility that some money that had been owed to you in the past may finally be paid to you. That would be nice, because that would help you with your whatever you're doing behind the scenes that I think is going to be quite easy for you to do and successful. So I do think that there's a lot more going on in the background of your life right now, Cancer, and I think you're pretty happy about that. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time with the moon in your sign when you can be rather expansive. You might be in the mood for a party or for doing things that are just a lot of fun. Leo is a very creative sign as well. And that moon in your sign is being tried by Uranus in Aries and also by Saturn in Sagittarius, which means that you may have a hand in some unique new opportunity that is coming up that could work out quite well as long as all of the legal work was done. So you have to make sure you've done your paperwork first, Leo. But if your paperwork is involving going into debt or taking a gamble, I strongly urge you to scratch it. And that is because Mars in Scorpio is squaring your sun for most of the summer, which means there can be some old bills that have to be paid off first, Leo, before you can incur any new ones. And also Mercury in Taurus is squaring your sun, so there could be some news about an investment, but it would be sort of an investment that might be just a little too expensive right now, so you might have to think twice about it. So this is not a time to take a gamble, and it's not a time to take a financial risk. But if you get the paperwork done for something that has a long-term payout connected to it, even if it starts rather suddenly in a unique way, that could work out. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think that you are going to be challenged by things that just sort of keep coming at you. And you know, your sign rules a good time management and efficiency. And you like to sort of cut things down to the essentials and get them to work out really well and be productive. And since there is a grand trine in earth signs right now, it simply means that accountability, which is what your sign rules, is essential to good financial management right now. Okay, so I think you've got the message on that, Virgo. But there can be a lot of disruptions in your life right now. Some of them could be very pleasant, but they would sort of take you away from your main focus, which would be on good time management or on budgets. And that is because the Sun and Venus and Gemini are squaring your Sun, which means younger people could want your attention right now just when you want to focus on things that are somewhat solitary. So you're going to have to accommodate them. And also Saturn in Sagittarius is squaring your Sun, which is an indication that you have to be very careful about legal dealings and get everything right and checked. In other words, if somebody is offering you something verbally, I would get it in writing and signed and dated first before you believe it, Virgo. And then Neptune in Pisces is opposing your sun sign, which means a lot of people have hidden agendas right now, and you have to be careful before you really put your trust in somebody. They may look a little differently than they really are. So that's why you're going to have a lot of distractions in the next week, Virgo. But I hope you try to keep your mind on good time management and on accountability, because that's what you excel at. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time that is full of potential for you. And that is because the Sun and Venus, your own ruler, are conjuncting in Gemini, and they are beautifully trining your sun sign. And they trine the sign of Aquarius as well. And that means that a delightful and younger partner could be headed your way, Libra, and you would certainly like that. Or there is the possibility of some temporary or part-time project or even a short trip or a vacation coming up that could make you very happy. If you are involved in the things that Gemini rules, such as buying and selling and renting and promoting or negotiating any kind of a deal, it can work out pretty well for you, Libra, as long as you sort of get a good perspective on both sides of an issue. But your sign does rule balance, and that is what you like to do. So I think that some sort of deal that may be in the air, even if it's just temporary, is going to work out pretty well for you right now. And I think that it could also bring you a potential nice partner. So I hope that you agree to go out and communicate with people, because that'll work out really well for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time with Mars in your sign, remember, since it is retrograde and exactly opposing Mercury, in Taurus. Both planets are at 26 degrees, when the long arm of the law could crack open and shatter somebody's big piggy bank, and a big one. And that could lead to somebody who has been enjoying the idea of riding a merry-go-round, round and round, again and again. It could cause them to fall off their merry-go-round as justice is done, and they may not be able to recover from that. In fact, it would be a hard fall if it happened to them. And I don't mean one person, I mean a group. And so there is the possibility that you have decided to sort of go after something. And it can be that something hasn't been fair or it hasn't been just, and it does involve a financial matter, and it's got to end. It's got to stop. And so it might be that you are going to be instrumental in making sure that financial information is painstakingly reviewed so that trust can be restored and justice can be done. And I don't think you're going to stop until you get some good answers and some matter cleared up. And it would be something that had been involving an injustice to people, either to yourself or to somebody else. And it could have been going on behind the scenes and looking pretty innocent, but it wasn't innocent at all. And that is because Neptune in Pisces is trining your sun sign where you have Mars. And your other ruler, Pluto, is sextiling your sun sign. And it is in Capricorn, and it too is retrograde. So there is the possibility that somebody way at the top may fall off their merry-go-round if there is a really painstaking examination of financial and legal policies that have been ignored in one way or another. So I think you've got a lot of work ahead of you, Scorpio, and I think you're going to go for it, because I think that you've just got to make sure justice is done now, because it hasn't been done before, and that was wrong. So I think you're going to right a wrong. And I don't think you care how long it takes, you're going to get it done. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, since Saturn is retrograde in your sign, remember retrograde planets are sort of giving us a message right now, and Saturn retrograde in your sign is an indication that the law must be upheld, not ignored. And that is because Sagittarius rules the courts and the whole judicial system, and it rules higher education, and it rules foreign countries and large international bodies, and of course the courts everywhere in the world. So I think that as long as you are following all legal procedures exactly right, Sagittarius, then there can be a lot of enthusiasm and backup for you to maybe start something new. And it has a good chance of success, as long as you make sure you got all your applications and paperwork done just right, and that they all do adhere to legal policies. So you might have to take it a little bit slow, but I have a feeling that this is a period of change for you, Sagittarius. And even if it involves some sort of betrayal that instigates the change, remember Venus is opposing Saturn in your sun sign, that still could sort of get you going and in a new direction. And I think that new direction would actually be more successful for you, Sagittarius. So don't be afraid of it. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think that you are very concerned about restoring trust. And that is because it's so important to do that. And you restore trust by making sure that everybody's on the same page as far as financial and legal policies go, that they're being followed and upheld. And if someone at the very top in management in a large corporation or a government agency has not been doing that, then I think, Capricorn, you're going to say, wait a minute, when we're adding 2 plus 2, we're not coming up with 4 here, we're coming up with something that doesn't add up or doesn't make sense, and that has to stop in order to restore trust. And so your sign does rule people's 10th house of career, but Pluto is a planet that represents management at the top in large corporations or government agencies. And so I think you can be very concerned sort of with rules and regulations right now, and not only that you follow them, but that other people do as well. And you're in a very good position to have all of the facts, which are re-examined and proven, and you can follow through right now, Capricorn. So whether you're opening your own business or whether you're minding someone else's business, I think that you're on the right track, so keep at it. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when you too should not take any kind of a risk or a gamble, because Mercury in Taurus, a fixed financial sign, is squaring your sun, and so is Mars in Scorpio. And so you should move out or away from anything that represents a financial risk, Aquarius. And if there is some sort of a debt that has to be either collected or paid by you, I hope that you concentrate on reducing that, because this is not a time to incur debt, this is a time to pay it down. If you do that, you may be able to enjoy some part-time or temporary project or effort that works out quite well for you, or you may even be able to afford some sort of wonderful short vacation, or working with younger people, because the Sun and Venus in Gemini are trining your sun sign. So your future is looking bright as long as you can get away from some of the baggage of your past, and that means financial baggage. You've really got to cut it down to nothing if you can, Aquarius. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time now that Mars in Scorpio is trining your sun, that you can get some matters cleared up, and they would be financial matters or something that deals with an injustice, because you could have some backup from somebody that does not want to see an injustice continue, but instead wants to right a wrong. And if you have been wronged or you have been the victim of some sort of fraud, then I think you're going to get a little help from the long arm of the law in solving that kind of a problem, which would be good. If, on the other hand, it's you that has been working with hidden enemies on some sort of hidden agenda, that could be exposed right now, and you might be found out for being involved in some sort of cover-up or, as I said, fraud. So one way or the other, Pisces, something is going to get cleared up in your life right now, and there is someone else or even an agency that is not going to stop until all the facts are known and painstakingly reviewed, and in order to restore trust and uphold the law. So I think there is a good opportunity for you to get help if you need it, or for you to get something straightened out, because maybe it's just gone on too long and it has to end. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, you can see this show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.